All right, that is live. Wonderful.
You let that Richard Lowe guy in? You let anybody in, don't you, Ashley?
I
No
do.
kid, no kidding.
Oh, that's cool. Trends AI there.
Hey, Amber.
I like that.
I like it. I like it. Hi, Cyrus.
Hey, everybody.
Tracy, so glad you could join.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Danny's
Yeah,
joining. All right. We're getting a good crowd. I like it.
I know. Lots of folks here. Mark, good to see you. Ron, it was great catching up yesterday. Thank you for taking my call. Danny, hello. Good to have you here. Joe, thank you. Cyrus, always good to see ya. I'll wait another minute or so, but I will have the pleasure of getting things started here on our side. We'll give it one more minute. And then we've got our recording. Perfect. We will send this recording out along with any questions that come up. Please feel free to drop your questions, comments, thoughts into the chat. We do have time at the end of the presentation, and we will take those and turn it into a little FAQ. Obviously, a lot going on in this space, super innovative, and so we encourage you to really become interactive with the chat. But good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're at. Welcome to today's IAMCP SoCal's webinar, AI in Upstream Energy and Automating Your Operations with AI Agents. I'm Ashley Dueñez, your president of IAMCP SoCal. On behalf of our chapter, we really thank you for joining us today and your continued interest. Thank you to all of those that have shared our communications with your networks, and we're really looking to evolve the conversation around AI, operational transformation, and the future of the Microsoft partner ecosystem. I know many on this call, I see familiar faces, but those that aren't as familiar with IAMCP, we are the International Association of Microsoft Channel Partners, and we exist to help maximize the business potential of our members through peer-to-peer interactions, member advocacy, community outreach, growth and education, all while strengthening our ties across this Microsoft ecosystem. Our Southern California chapter is especially focused on creating meaningful educational conversations, partner collaboration, and getting opportunities for our members and community to learn and grow together. But today's discussion I'm really excited about because it brings together innovation, practical AI application, and deep industry experience. And I'm really honored to introduce Gary Peterson. I've had the opportunity to partner with Gary previously during his time as the Chief Strategy Officer at Hitachi Solutions through our work here at MW Partners. And I've really always appreciated his strategic perspective, his leadership, and the ability to really connect business transformation with the practical execution. But now he serves as the strategic advisor and chief commercial advisor with Mango Bytes, where the team is doing really some incredible and innovative work around agentic AI. We're excited to hear your perspective today, Gary, on where AI agents are heading, how organizations can begin to operationalize AI, and what this could mean for our businesses and partnerships moving forward. So thank you, Gary, for being here, and let me turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Ashley, and really appreciate you, all our work that we did together in the past, and then certainly the opportunity to spend with this awesome group today. Let me pull up the presentation. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, perfect. Okay, Ashley did a wonderful job already kind of setting the framework. I'm going to do a little bit more of that, but I am Gary Peterson, Chief Commercial Officer, Mango Bytes AI. And I am going to spend a little bit of time with you today. I think it's about an hour and 15 minutes we had allocated. A lot of you, I've seen your names before, and some of you, we probably even shook hands, spent a little bit of time together. I did spend a little over 20 years in the Microsoft ecosystem. So been in your space. I'll talk a little bit about my background, and then we'll carry this forward. But really, just to set the stage, we are going to spend some time today talking about that infamous statement frontier firm, and really from an AI journey. And as we're entering into phase two, which is really human agents, agentic AI, any other word you can put around that, we are actually getting to that phase right now. We've lived in it for the last 4 years at Megabytes AI, so we have some pretty good perspective on that, and hope to share that with you today. Megabytes AI overview, I'll spend some time on that, putting the story behind the story, and then I'm actually going to do a demo. And I was never a demo solution architect, did demos on the way up, did every role in you can imagine in building companies, especially in the tech space, but I never did have the opportunity to do pre-sales and demos. And you know what? I always say, if I can do the demo, anybody can do it. And that's really what agentic AI is making it very easy for people to see, to understand, to get their hands on it, to see what the value is, and to incorporate it into their everyday world, to add some scale and all the other great stuff. So we'll spend some time with that today. And then the 10 minutes, how can we collaborate together? I've got 3 different ideas that we can explore, and then certainly at the end, I do want to leave some time for Q&A at the end. If you have questions along the way, just put them in the chat. Ashley's going to accumulate those, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of time at the end to talk and even debate some of those. I mean, this journey isn't set exactly on what the next steps look like. So there's a lot of theses out there, trial and error out there. And that's the beauty of this AI journey. But make no mistake, we are moving that direction. Okay, I know this is a super busy slide, but I wanted to spend a little bit of time on my background. The point here is not to do any kind of I don't know, bragging or anything like that about the background. The point here is really to give you a perspective of who is this Gary Peterson guy talking to you for the next hour and 15 minutes. What does he know about the Microsoft ecosystem? What does he know about our space? What does he know about the AI world and customers and all that good stuff? So in summary, I'm one of you, right? I spent 37 years, anything from technology entrepreneur to global business leader, really focused around growth companies, high growth companies, whether they were startups, build them, sell them, grow them, to buying companies, selling companies, integrating companies, working for some of the biggest companies in the world. And in those, in that space of time, I've had probably every kind of job you can imagine, just like a lot of us has, from executive leadership to a lot of time spent on the chief strategy officer, to corporate development, M&A, integration, country manager, sales and marketing. I carried a bag, once upon a time in my career, and loved it. Selling JD Edwards back in the day, and all that great stuff. And on the marketing operations, software development, finance side, I was actually CFO in my career as well, and then to being a board member. But how it applies to you was, I started with 2 other partners, Mike Gillis, you may know him. We started a company back in January 2004 called Iteration 2. We saw a great opportunity to enter the biz app space. Microsoft obviously was doing a lot of investment there, bought a company called Navision. which was great and really allowed us to see a vision of taking Microsoft up market, and especially into that upper mid-market space where we had spent a lot of time before developing companies and worked for software development companies and being successful there. Long story short, we started in 2004 with a vision of becoming one of Microsoft's largest partners in the world, which is pretty ambitious when three of us are sitting in Orange County, California, looking at each other and signing papers and starting in 2004. But our vision was to really focus on industry, focus on IP development, and focus on Microsoft, and really focus on competing with the other tier one players out there. That strategy ended up working. In 3 years, we were a 2-time U.S. Partner of the Year in the biz app space within our first 3 years. And then as part of our business plan, once we reached a certain size, we ended up selling our company to a large systems integrator out there so we could expand around the world and continue our vision. And that company was Hitachi. And so came over about 115 people and then grew it to nearly 3,500 people, almost 500 million in revenue, when I retired about a year and a half ago. And I put retired around that in quotations because that ended up being a sabbatical. Honestly, just missed all of this, right? And especially the Microsoft ecosystem. AI was just way too compelling to be out of it, want to be in it, and kind of see where, help any way I can. And so we started a company called Onward 2 Incorporated, which is a strategic growth advisory company for the AI era, and get a chance to work with, great systems integrators and software development companies in the Microsoft ecosystem. That's where we're focused. I hooked up with a great friend of mine called Vijay Casaretti about a year ago, and he was off building a second AI company and also building a large conglomerate. And I thought it was super interesting how they were doing it. First AI company, by the way, Microsoft bought in 2019, and Vijay worked at Microsoft for 12 years, did his AI company, then was head of Microsoft research for AI for a couple of years. And then was also building a conglomerate, which I'll talk to you, which is our parent company called Mango Group. So hooked up with VJ, saw what they were doing with Mango Bytes AI on the agentic AI side of the house, but they were doing some super interesting because they were layering it over their other industrial companies beforehand. And then it was time for us to commercialize. So that's been the journey that we're on, and that's what I will focus on and share with you all today. Okay, and hopefully all that will start making more sense as I go through the story, but this brings us really at the start of the story, and that story is leaning into where Microsoft is going. As we all know, this AI era started in November of this phase one of the AI era started in November of 2022 when OpenAI and ChatGPT came out, and we're just like, what is this? And the potential, and some of us leaned into it early. Obviously, Satya did, and the rest of the Microsoft team, they did the student body right in Q1 of 2023. We were watching, like a lot of you were watching, very, very closely. And we didn't wait around. Once they came out at the end of the quarter, we leaned in hard. I was the chief strategy officer at that time, and it was just no joke. I got the bug, I got the religion quickly, and we quickly did our 3 pillars of figuring out, how we were going to think about AI going forward, what that looked like for our organization, and more importantly, what it looked like for our company, for our customers, our partnership with Microsoft, our team, and frankly, our company. And so we got to work. And so spent a lot of time before I retired really integrating AI, Copilot, Microsoft strategy around AI into our organization, our products and services that we work with our customers and serve our customers with, and then how we were going to help our company internally utilize AI. So been there. I wouldn't say done it, but at least did, there's no ever done it. It's always evolving, as we all know, but was deeply involved there. But that's phase one, and could see the vision of phase two, which is the human agent teams. And of course, I know you all have read this, read the year the frontier firm is born. It actually is a great article, put out a little over a year ago in April by Microsoft, and we believe in it. And it's some neat, great to get behind. We've shared it with a lot of our prospects, customers, and it's really kind of helping us frame where we're going. The good news about what Microsoft has put together, where we're going, and frankly where the industry is going. I don't know if you were able to jump on Jensen Wang's call last week when NVIDIA, or the week before, when NVIDIA reported their quarterly results. This is the first time he said agentic AI is here. And you're seeing that more and more and more as companies report. And that's always that's always the tipping point, is when a lot of these, S&P 500 companies get on, at least in my opinion, when they get on, the quarterly calls, and what are they talking about? Well, 60% of them, 65% of them, we're talking about AI agents and going forward in this quarterly, conference call, which was much more than the last in the previous year. So definitely a tipping point, and we're moving into phase two. I don't think we're there yet. We're still in the early innings. And let's, and thinking about where Microsoft, what they're doing with the partner community. You remember when last July, when they came out and they said, okay, here's what this fiscal year looks like, and here's what we'd like you all to think about from a partner perspective. We want you to do two things. We want you to have an AI advisory capability, so you can talk to the customers about their AI plans, where they're going, and put that in place, and really be at the table, seat at the table, helping companies lean and push forward there. But we also want you to have your industry-specific agent library, right? And so that was a challenge. And with Microsoft, it's a challenge they put out the first year, and then the next year they put some more teeth behind it. And we're going into next year, and we're going to see some things that come up. This is a structural shift in the ecosystem. We believe the partners who don't adopt to an AI native, industry-focused agentic AI IP creation model, coupled with their core SI business, may be displaced over time by those who do, right? And so I think this year is a trial run on that. Certainly more and more conversations. Love to hear what you're seeing with your customers, with your communication with Microsoft. I think next year there's just going to be some more teeth, put into that. So why thinking about it? And remember, I was on the software, development side and companies and the SI side, right? So I kind of come at it from both perspectives. And why could this be a problem for the Microsoft ecosystem, especially with the systems integrators? Well, if you think of the systems integrators, it's pushing some different muscles, right? You say the wrong muscles. I say, well, maybe it's different muscles, right? SIs, you implement solution software, and custom software, and you develop it out, right? There's project-based engagements. You have delivery organizations, people, process, and tools, billable hours, statement of works, client-specific solutions, and you get them implemented and enable, right? That's what SI is. That's what we do great, right? And that's our job. And we want to take care of our clients for life. Well, the new model that's coming down is really a combination. So it's you need to do all that, but you also need to have productization of AI, agentic AI solutions. They need to be repeatable and scalable. You need to have agent development capabilities. You need to think like an ISE, or like Microsoft says right now, software development company, SDC, right? And so think about it. The economics are different. You invest before you get, right? And it's a subscription. But you still have to have customers that you enable, and you still have to be proven, customer proven outcomes. And of course, at the end of the day, it needs to drive Microsoft revenue. So if you think about industrialized agent, when they say, oh yeah, go build and your agent library, well, you build it because you want to take it to your customers and you want to differentiate with your customers how you know their business. And then at the end of the day, the customer is going to go, oh, I love those 5 agents. Can I have them? Well, you better be ready to sell them and support them going forward. That's just not a typical muscle that's out there. So, you can ask yourself questions, right? You can agree with that or you can disagree with that. I have an opinion and a thesis even before I went to be the chief commercial officer for Megabytes AI. I can see this, moving forward, and it's really, I do believe it belongs, agentic AI. I do believe it belongs on the systems integrator side because systems integrators are so close to the customers, know their business, know their industry. So I do believe it's over there. It's just how you get it over there and combine it is really the, I think the challenge. But things, questions like how it all going to play out, and how do you best position yourself and your company for success moving forward? How long will it take to, for the marketplace to fully embrace phase, into human agent team, concept? What will the tipping point be? What's the right agentic AI approach or approaches moving forward to serve our customers? And so thinking about it, put 4 potential ways forward, right? So 1, customers build and deploy AI agents on their own and do it internally. And certainly a lot of customers are doing that, are trying it. And certainly that's an approach, right? You can pick the flavor of the month. Is it Claude this month? Is it Gemini last month? Is it ChatGPT 4 going to 5? Is it Copilot? Pick the flavor of the month. Right. And there's going to be others that are coming out. I will guarantee you with any industry that's maturing, you see a lot of these entrants come in and over time they'll flesh out. And by the way, I think Microsoft, although maybe not in the most, I think from a branding perspective, maybe it's taken a step down. I think Microsoft will be the leader at the end of the day. Right. And we can talk about that a little bit later. Option B, customers utilize the SI partner community to help build out and deploy the AI agents like Copilot Studio, Agent Center, Azure, Azure AI, and built from the ground up, or Copilot Studio. That could be an option as well. Customers buy proven, tailored, off-the-shelf AI agents, industry, horizontal, and deploy with the help of the SI partner community. Could be an option as well. Or is it really going to be a combination of A, B, and C? And it probably, again, this isn't proven. We are not there yet. But those are the logical. There could be others out there as well. But really the question is how it will play out right at the end of the day. So let's look at one of those options, and let's look at from an agentic AI solution provider using that ISV muscle to build it out. And that's a good segue into Megabytes AI. So Megabytes AI, your human-centered, always on agentic AI solution. We have a lot of taglines, just like everybody else does. But at Megabytes AI, we help energy, land, and renewable companies unlock value and grow using our agentic AI always-on solution built on the Microsoft platform for enterprise-level security, scale, and intelligence. Developed and tested in our own operation, Megabytes AI suite identifies new opportunities, drives efficiencies, makes recommendations, and supports data-driven decisions in the AI era. Our big tagline is building the frontier firm of the future, one AI agent at a time. We are entering phase 2. When you enter any new era, there's trepidation, There's, as I said, new kind of flavors coming on all the time. There's a lot of confusion, coming to market, and this is a one AI agent at a time. You build it, you show it, you prove it. You may do a proof of concept, you may do a pilot, you get the customers to embrace it, to understand it, and then you can map out future, the agent roadmap going forward so they can take advantage of all the goodness that you have built out. We've got two co-founders. I said one of them, Vijay Casaretti. Some of you may know Vijay, incredible human being, and his partner, Kamal. And they are co-founders of not only Mango Bytes AI, but Mango Group, which I'll talk about in a minute. Vijay and Kamal are best buddies. I came over here about 35 years ago. They went to the MIT of India and came over here about, a little over 30 years ago to get their master's. One went to Ohio State University, and that's where Vijay and Kamal went to Purdue University and started their career at a company called I2 Technologies back in the day. And you can remember them as a serious high flyer. But Vijay and Kamal have been really busy over the last decade building out the Mango Group, which is our parent company. Mango Group is a energy, land, renewables, and AI company. So we've got an energy company, which I'll talk about in a minute, and we've got a land company with about 13,000 acres, mostly in the great state of Texas. We have a renewables business where we're rolling out our renewable business right now outside of Houston called EcoCyclic, which is a biomass business. So sticks 6 types of plastics in one end of the, with these beautiful big machines that we got from Germany, and we licensed for about 5 years exclusively around the US. And then out the other end, once we heat it up to its lowest components, without oxygen, by the way, and out the other end, you get oil, you get gas, and you get carbon. And then we resell those to different businesses out there. Plan to do that all over the United States and North America. But if you're thinking about that business, it's really industrial manufacturing, it's really industrial processing, chemical, right? And so the interesting thing that they also did about 4 years ago as they started developing those other industrial business, which they have about $1 billion of assets under management now, so not small, they've done really well, is they're technologists at heart, and they wanted to bring AI in and layer that over the top. And that's really what they did for about 3.5 years. And then last summer, it became very logical. And it was part of their thought process as well, is how do we take our agentic AI business, and now how do we commercialize that? And if you think about another little company out there that did that, a guy by the name of Jeff Bezos and Amazon, and they call it inside out innovation. So we're all about that. Eat your own dog food, and then commercialize it, perfect it, be your best use case, be your best reference, and then commercialize. So let's talk about what that looks like. So I said we have an energy company as well. It's an upstream oil and gas company called Texian Operating. It's a Mango Group company. We've got a great CEO named John Martin. He's an oil and gas guy, 37 years in the oil and gas business. Our headquarters is in Irving, Texas, and we operate in 3 states, Texas, Louisiana, and New Mexico. We've got about 1,200 total wells. And so we're a mid-size upstream oil and gas company. We also have 400 miles of pipe. So we're also a midstream company as well. So we do drilling, completions, workover, midstream. We manage our pipeline. We do project management. So Vijay and Kamal, 6 years or so, said, you know what, that's a great business to get into. Vijay actually had some great experience there at Microsoft in AI, talking to large companies like Chevron, British Petroleum, and Shell about how AI would fit back in his business when he was headed that up in 2019, 2021. They had bunch of acreage of land. They had some oil wells on it. They said, you know what? That looks like a great business to be in. So let's go, acquire wells, right? You can drill wells, grow it. You can acquire wells, grow it, or you can do a combination. And our path was to acquire. Well, so we set out to do it. And so we acquired wells and we started operating, or they started operating them. And they were doing what every other upstream oil and gas company would do, right? They come in, they're operating the business. Well, how did we do last month, right? Can you go give me the report and analyze what are the actual recommendations? Let's talk about that. Why do our profits drop so much, for that field or for that well? And what should we do to improve? Why are all these wells performing poorly? And what can we do to improve? And show me the detailed plans and how do our wells compare to other wells best in class that are close, 5 miles within. And BJ and Kamal are just talking to John. They're curious, they're smart. They want to ask, they want to understand it. John's pulling his hair out, trying to get as he's building the company, trying to get, the information. And it quickly became very obvious that they needed, a little over 4.5 years ago, they needed to bring the band back, bring their AI, developers back that they had building their first AI company, and really create an agentic AI platform to help them run not only this business, but the land business and, the renewables business. And that's what we did. That's how it was born, right? So AI, our company was built by operators for operators, right? And it's inside out innovation. And so they got to work. And so they, brought the development team back, proven development, AI development team back, hired, product managers, put them out in Irving, Texas, sat right next to John and the rest of the team and started asking them a lot of questions. What are you doing here? How can we help your, build agents to help you make your life easier? What do you do every day or every week or every month, beginning to end? Show us the process. The vision was to combine human expertise with AI to simplify work, reduce risk, and unlock value so others can benefit from the lessons learned at scale. Not new news, but it was at the time probably pretty early in the agentic AI world. And we wanted to use it for our companies first, right before we took it to market. So that was the plan. So when we developed it out, you dissect what that company looks like, what those rules look like, and you've heard this before, right? So what are the roles? Compliance and regulatory agents, right? We have production and operation agents, finance and accounting agent, management agents, landman agents, hedging and trading agents. So we put capabilities and built agents, Mangobytes AI capabilities agents around them, but we always had an eye on what are the outcomes? What are the outcomes? What are the outcomes? And what are the quantitative benefits? How can you see that? How can you show it over time? And how can you evolve over time? And so that was always one of our focuses from the beginning, design principle. Of course, we wanted to put it on our real world assets, which inside out innovation. It's early. We're really doing it out of necessity, bringing all the goodness that we can so we can run our industrial companies the best way possible. Highest growth potential, highest profit potential, best experience for our team members so we can attract the best and the brightest, not only attract them, but retain them to do amazing things. So with us, it's not theoretical, and it hasn't been. Like we're in the trenches, put it together, and out the other end, knowing that it is helping us do things a lot better, but with the potential of helping the community and the marketplace do it better. We wanted to do it 100% on the Microsoft platform. Remember, we're a first company, 2000, VJ spent 12 years at Microsoft. First AI company, 2014, 2019, all built on Microsoft platform, bought by Microsoft, right? I mean, we're in, right? No reason, frankly, not to be. And so we built it on the Azure AI Foundry at the lowest level. We are a Microsoft SDC, proudly listed on the marketplace. And we've got an aggressive growth strategy around the Microsoft channel partners like yourself, as well as industry partners and network. Not going to drain this. This is our architecture, though, and you can see a lot of blue. You can see a lot of Microsoft products that you know and love, as well. And one of the things that we like to say and are proud of is we built it at the Azure AI Foundry level. And when and connected it, of course, we're in oil and gas, and so we wanted to do the external data connections. We've connected with all different regulatory agents in Texas and beyond, which is great. But we also connected it with Microsoft and the well and production information, the SCADA information, ERP, and integrated it with the other great Microsoft products. We've got a reference architecture, which I alluded to, but extends, Microsoft Copilot, right? Deep integration with the vertical intelligence that we bring. I said built on the Azure AI Foundry, which is really important because you want to build industrial level agents, industrial level software. And we believe agents are software, and they better be industrialized, industrial level. And what do I mean by that? You should be able to sell them. If a customer buys them, it needs to be, tons of security, visibility, and I'll go into that, but it also needs to be upgradable. You need to be able to provide that. And all the things around being a software development company, we're now in the AI world, agentic AI world, that is a micro version of that, right? And so things like Microsoft Copilot Studio, our agents are exposed and we're integrated with MCP, and we're integrated obviously with Microsoft Copilot Studio. Microsoft Teams, Copilot, I can mention that 100 times, and that's music to obviously the Microsoft sellers' ears. Outlook, integrated, you can expose megabytes agents through the Microsoft solutions as well. We built a layer on top of that. It's the orchestration and reasoning layer. That's the Megabytes AI. We believe in observability and explainability. And so we've taken all the greatness of Microsoft, but we wanted to layer in that level over the top of it. And then security, scale, safety, and scalability. We've added other elements on top of the Microsoft to embellish that, because we believe at the end of the day, that is Microsoft pole position, and that will be, at the end of the day, Microsoft democratizes technology. And as this, whether it's Anthropic, whether, Gemini, whether it's, OpenAI, bring in your own large language models like we have done. That's what they do very, very well, but they're the trust factor. There's the safety factor out there. And at the end of the day, we believe that's what's going to carry the day, right? And we provide the user first experience, that domain expertise that we bring, to bear, which is really, really important. And we've engineered the agents for reliability, for industrial, where you can sell them, have the confidence that they're upgradable, they're safe, they're secure, and the clients are going to be satisfied with those. We focus on the right side, complex and specialized. And then, of course, we've done our work with Microsoft, which is great, right? I was in the ecosystem for a long, long time. I'm a true believer. We're a true believer in the Microsoft ecosystem. We love it. We love this. And when you're out of it, you go out of it. Maybe you'll be like me. You miss it, even if it was for a couple of months. You want to get back involved with it. And so we've worked with, Microsoft from, Jessica Hawk is our executive sponsor. We've worked with the oil and gas industry teams. We have some great connections there. as well as out into the field. One of the cool things that we have done is worked with the Microsoft Innovation Hub down in Houston. And if you walk around the Innovation Hub, which is really cool, Josh Stevenson, he's the leader there. He'll take you around, and in the upstream oil and gas part, Megabytes AI is featured. And so we'll be on the rolling video there. Josh will even show you some agents, which is really, 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 really cool. And so we're proud of our Microsoft relationship. We're proud of the partnership that we have. Great partners like MWP, other partners like CompuSoft Digital. Sohail out of Houston is part of that company, and he's also, I think, the chapter president down there. And we're expanding that. So AI built from the inside out innovation. So if you didn't know what that was before, now you do. And we're super happy to be representing Microsoft, upstream oil and gas as and midstream oil and gas and land and renewables, and doing that in a very compelling and fun way as we move forward in learning, right? We've got an incredible team. That portion of the team, Megabytes AI, and we've got about 35 members. We're taking on a new team member, at least once every couple weeks as we continue to grow out. We've got, customers. I think we have 18 customers now and growing. We get a chance to talk to people in the industry. I get a chance to talk to somebody, every other day, right? A C-level within the oil and gas industry, outside of the oil and gas industry. It's fun to learn about where people are, what they're thinking, and then really help get them comfortable to move forward as we move into this agentic AI world. And again, if you remember, part of my career was CFO, outcomes, numbers, quantitative improvements. If it's not improving our lives or our customers' lives, why do it, right? It's not just a fun thing to do or a cool thing to do. It needs to have proven quantitative improvements. And that's why we can lean back, on, with taxi and operating. So we embedded it there over 4 years ago. We've been operating. So what does that give us? Gives us, we're 20 to 30% leaner than a similar operator in our space right now, upstream oil and gas company. We scaled from 600 wells to 1,200 wells. We didn't change the back office team, right? We've implemented agents to help them make their life easier, and in some case, allow them to do something else that expands, that helps them grow and helps the business grow. We've created operating leverage now to go buy assets and expand where, frankly, others can't. But we're okay with bringing Megabytes AI to market to help those others to get to the same spot that we are, right? And probably most importantly, we built a culture of innovation and possibilities. And so we've kind of proven out, we've lived what happens when tech-proven operators build AI for operators. So all that, great, fun, good story, maybe a feel-good story. I don't know. I like it, and I think it's compelling, as we move forward and helping customers think about AI and how it fits for them, what their journey looks like. But here, seeing is absolutely believing. So I want to go and utilize my amazing, and I do put that in parentheses, amazing demo capabilities. But again, if I can demo this, show it, anybody can. And that's really how we built out our agent library. So we've got 4 different products. We've got a great website, and I'll show you that as well. We've got a great partner playbook, show that to you as well. But, I'm just going to take you through right now our different offerings, but really focus on our agent library. But we do have Pixie, which is our super agent, right? It's our co-pilot, but it's really built for these industries. So it can attach itself to any agent. You can collaborate with it, ask questions, get answers, and all that great stuff. We've got our AI analytics solution, right? And so we've got, and this is what we have in our portfolio, and think about when we're talking to companies like us. This is how we run our business. Austin Salt Field or Salt Flats, it's one of our fields, right? So this is how John Martin and his team, and we've got about, in this world, if you lived in it, you'll know that there's a lot of investors, and even in our world, we've got about 200 investors, right? And so got to give them information all the time. Well, you can have agents that do that, but this is our analytics where we offer it to our customers as well. Partners can resell it as well, where it shows a summary of running upstream oil and gas business, right? All the KPIs you can look at a well level, and this is actual data, right? And so a lot of the wells are doing well. Why are they doing well? Well, you can sell, oil now for, well, around $90, and it was $110 not too long ago, right? And so it's much higher than what you could last year. So see a lot of green, but you can dive into, you can do all the profitability analysis that you want. You can do the what if analysis, what if electricity costs, which is like 45-50% of your ongoing costs. What if that goes up 20%? Right? And so what does that do to, your KPIs with your admin costs can go down? How does that change the ball game? And you can do a lot of what if analysis, sensitivity analysis. Here's what I'm showing. Adjusting the price of oil up can go down. You can see what that does, to your operations, which is great. And you can go to the well level. Right. And so each of these wells, you can get down and you can do basically P&L by well, and you can have all your executive reporting that you want. You can bring in Pixie and you can ask it a bunch of questions. You can layer on the top of it, ask it a bunch of questions like, what does this mean? What should I care about as an investor? What are the trends and what should we do to improve it? We've got AI Studio, which is our development toolkit. Same stuff that, our partners, customers can use. It's building agents and how do we do it, right? It's same tools that's built on top of Microsoft platform, but and you have step-by-step instructions on what you can do to build out the agents, support the agents, build the workflows around it, and deploy the agents. And then, of course, we've got our agent library. Our agent library is getting pretty big, right? It's pretty cool. We've got 60 agents right now that we offer to the public, and it's in these, energy, upstream, midstream, it's land, it's renewables, can filter by role, filter by GA, certified, preview, and we even show you the agents that are in development. We actually sell GA certified and preview. We put it out there on preview. We want it to mature a little bit more, but we'll stand behind it. You can see how it's built. I showed you the roles before. I showed the industry on the left here. It's energy, the role, compliance, and regulatory. You can just go down. If you live in this world or know this world, you'll know, oh, okay, regulatory compliance agent, oil hedging agent, production forecast agent, these well workover agents. If you know what a well workover is, it's if you got 1,200 wells, there's only so many wells that you can look at to do a well workover analysis. It takes about 50 hours of pretty expensive engineering time to be able to go through the process, to be able to analyze. There's only so many you can do. If you do the math, that's over $10,000. So the industry average is that you can do about 13 to 18% of your wells, you can analyze it. Well, what if instead of spending the 52 hours on it, what if we could do it in 20 minutes and create and do the same thing, pull in the schematics, do all the tallies, do the economic analysis, do the AFE sheets, and get it to a spot where we can get it back to the engineer to actually just validate and then bring it forward, Well, you can't. We got agents that can do that. That gives you the return. Production reports. If you're in this for Texas, if you're in any of the states in Texas, if you have a well, you have to do a production report. You have to submit to the RRC, which is the regulatory agency. You have to do that once every month. Why do that? Why don't you do that with an agent? Why do it that takes you 4 hours to do it, with humans? So you look through, and these are just all the agents. Mineral lookup, it's a big deal. Mineral owners, it's a big part of, this world. I said, remember one of the questions I said, what could you do with a nearby well agent? How could you, analyze our well to the wells that are 5 miles from us? Well, you can. We are connected in Texas. This is New Mexico, but in Texas or New Mexico, we're connected with the agency and connect in Texas, which is about 45% of all the oil and gas production in North America. Pretty big, right? Biggest state by far. There's 1.3 million wells. Well, we're connected with those as well. We're connected with the regulatory agent. We have access into 1.3 million of those wells, all the location, all the production history, all the economics around anything that's reported to the RRC. We've got access. We bring that into Megabyte AI, so you as an operator get the advantage of comparing your wells to anybody else. What's best in class? Why are we not what they are? What's the difference? What's the recommendations? What can we do to close the gap? Or, you know what? We love this well. We'd like to build, maybe either drill or build or buy other wells, that are close to it. Use this agent to figure it out, right? And then you look at all the ones that are coming preview, and then you can look at the ones that are on deck. So we think we'll have 100 GA and certified certainly by the end of the year, if not beforehand. So that's cool. That's great. But this is where the magic really starts. Let me do one of them. It's the H10 form filling agent. And if you know this world, the H10, you have a well, you get to do this one time a year. For each well in the great state of Texas. This isn't insignificant, though. This is the 65-page report that the RRC sends out to all the well owners and says, okay, congratulations on owning the well. We need you to actually go fill out this form, 20 inputs, and send it to us. And we're going to define exactly what that looks like for you, all the nuances associated, how to fill out the form, 65 pages. Well, that's a lot of information. So we thought, okay, that's a great opportunity for an agent, right? The H10 form filling agent without EDI in Texas. And so we created an agent for it. All our agents have the same look and feel. Every agent has the same look and feel. And so you go, and there's always 5 questions or prompts in every single agent without fail. So we were, as we were defining, now, granted, when I came on board last July, August, kind of mapping out how we commercialize this, what are the things we need to do to commercialize it, what would our agent library look like. They'd already built out the functionality and we're usually utilizing it. It's just, well, how do we create our agent? Like Microsoft told us to do that. How do we create our own agent library, which I love because it's a great way of thinking about it, looking at it, and then also visualizing how it could work in the real world. But we wanted to ask 5 questions that could be consistent across the every agent, right? But think about it from a customer perspective, not our perspective. So you can see there's a lot of white space. So it's like, oh, okay, not so confusing. That's good. Gives you a little description. So this was an AI-powered agent that assists in filling the Texas RRC H10 form out without EDI file. Right? There's different ways of submitting it. We actually have one that fills it out with EDI. So it just says it. We want this one, you can do it in batch and then submit it later on, right? In a batch EDI. And that's how how it's built. But there's 5 different questions, prompts. So the first one, how can you assist me and why is it better? Look at me, I'm demoing. It's called demoing. So I can click a question and it said, well, thank you for your question. As an expert HTML form filler, I can assist you step by step. And so here are the tasks. And we always did a manual process versus a me, which is an agent, right? And so what it could take if you did it manually, a lot of, full disclosure, a lot of oil and gas operators have automation around these, but we always want to look at from a manual versus an agent. So you can look at all the tasks. You can look at the 4 to 6 hours. That's what it took us, right? We had at 600 wells, we had 3 people that just did compliance and regulatory agency reporting. With 1,200 wells, we now have 1 person do that, right? So because you can get it down to 8 to 10 minutes. You can save 90% of time and you can reduce errors, right? So the quality go up. So that's that. Okay, that's good. And think about a customer looking at that. Okay, good. I got some, remember I said, we really want people to understand what's going on. We don't want it to be in a black box. So we're going to showcase it, right? So here's the next one. What can you do and can't do? So it's really good to know what you can do, but what was frustrating, I think it does frustrate people, is what can't you do? Well, this one, we're not going to do the EDI submission. We're not going to generate the data from scratch, not this one. And we're not going to provide legal advice. All right, well, that's good to know. I want to know what you can't do. Okay, that's fair. Doesn't mean that we couldn't build an agent to do that, but this one is out of the box. This is what it does. Need to speed up here a little bit. And here's the process. Again, full transparency. We're going to go through 4 steps. We're going to ask some questions. You're going to provide some information. At the end of it, we're going to get it down. We're going to fill out 20 sections. Okay, that's good. I can look at it. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do. That's cool. And then what are the quantitative benefits of using you? Again, every single agent has the same thing. Looks pretty familiar from what the first one looked like. Again, 4 to 6 hours, 8 to 10 minutes, say over 90% of the time, and the quality goes up. That's awesome. You go, okay, I'm comfortable. We can move forward. So then you go, how do I get started? Which is really translation. Let's let the party begin. Let's get going with this. I want to see how the agent works. Now, if you know the oil and gas world, the API number is the identifier for all oil and gas wells. So that, it's your address, it's your plot, it's your lease number, it's it's your asset number, pick the industry. This is what identifies that particular oil or gas well. So it says, the agent said, put that in, right? Put it in there. So I just copied it in to get started. It said, well, that's great. Let's see if it can, somehow I actually copied other stuff in there and said, that's really not it. So why don't you do the right thing? Set it nicely. Somehow my copy is, of course, it's a demo, right? So I'm doing something stupid, but it shows that we can all do stuff and it's not going to blow it up, right? So it is pulling in. I pulled the the section for this piece of it, and it's pulling in the agents. And of course, it didn't pull in the right information, but I'm going to show you what it would do, because I learned through watching people do great demos that you always had to have a backup. And so a few minutes ago, before it started, I probably did something wrong when I pulled it back up, but this is what it does. So I put it in, it pulls up the 11 different sections. and it says, is this right? And I said, yep, looks right to me. And then it said, can you pull in the monthly data? And so I pulled in a PDF that pulled in the production data, and it said, great, because I need to do that through section 12 through 20. And it said, that production data, that was great and all, but can you answer one question for me on the fluid source? And it said, sure. And so I did that, and I said, yes. It's basically, I said, I agreed with that. And then it said, great. Here's what all 20 of the fields look like. Here's the data that you submitted. You want me to proceed? And I said, sure. Go ahead. And it gave me a chance to look at everything again. And then what it did is it produced the actual H10 report, which I then have the opportunity to submit, whether I can do it EDI, whether I put it all in a batch and do all 200 at once, or whether I have it send me an email, because it did it all automatically in an automated format and send me an email with 200 others that had to be submitted. And it wanted me just to look at exception reporting. But that's essentially what agents do. It takes you through the process, and each of them has its way and methodology of doing that. And if you wanted to actually see that in action, we really tried to build our Megabytes AI website in a way that is very educational, right? So everything we did to build our website, if you just look through some of the stuff that I already talked about, shows our customer, shows agent by role. You can scroll down. We wanted to make it a learning platform, right? For people to understand, to learn about agentic AI. We're proud Microsoft, which you can see, got all our case studies, all our videos. We even have demo vignettes here, right? So, the H10 form filling agent, you can click on that and it'll just walk you through, and, in 4.5 minutes, it'll show you the well workover, nearby workover. We'll continue to add to these. And then, of course, the customer testimonials and all the great stuff, what the, partners, and then, our story that I just went through, and then really the resources. And again, demo vignettes, you can go down there and click on it, and you'll just see what I saw. So that's that side of the house. Let's get back over so I can catch up. And let's go here. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. You see what a agent library looks like. Took through an agent demo, and all of them are really built the same way, with clarity, with simplicity, but really with outcomes in mind that are really industry perspective, from an industry perspective. So if we go from here, get into the Q&A. Ashley, I think I'm doing actually okay on time, yeah?
Yeah. You've
Ashley's
got
like,
about
oh,
10
that's the first
minutes
time I've
left.
ever seen that. But I want to kind of be respectful here as well. So how can we collaborate together going forward? Well, I put 3 different ideas: Megabytes AI reseller partnership opportunity, Megabytes AI agent builder as a service partner offering. Let's have a conversation as supportive Microsoft partners as we are in the ecosystem. And I told you, I was sincere. You can tell I have a little bit of passion, maybe left, and a little probably fuel in the tank and whatnot. I quote unquote retired, thought I could be done. Play golf every day, by the way. Got that down to about a 2.9 index, but figured out that that's probably not the best thing to do to your body every single day. And it's harder to get it to 2.8 and all that good stuff. And really wanted to get get back involved. And the AI era was just way too compelling. And honestly, I didn't want to be outside looking in. We all have this opportunity on what we do, and it's a gift. It really is a gift, and it's a gift. We're doing it with Microsoft. It's a gift. This Microsoft partner ecosystem is just unique. A lot of us came from outside of it, and it's kind of weird when you do. You're like, why am I talking to you? You're a competitor. Well, you're a friend of me, right? And we actually really do support each other, and we want to see success. If we're competing to each other, we want to beat each other, but we want to see us all move forward. And I am passionate about our customers, about Microsoft, about you all. And so just as, want to continue to learn. Let's have conversation. You're seeing things that I'm not seeing, we're not seeing. Let's have a conversation around that. So the partner opportunity, you saw that on the website. You can click down and look at this. This will be exposed more to you. But there really is there's a unique partner opportunity, I feel. And I was excited about that with Megabytes AI coming in because we could define how we wanted to go to market. I have built direct organizations, selling organizations, can do that, done it many times before, probably even more comfortable, to be honest with you. And we're kind of doing a combination now because we have to go have these conversations. We have to know what the part of what the customers are thinking, kind of like Microsoft when they built out their PC, they got to know what that looks like to help others, in the channel do that, or other OEMs do that as well. So we are doing a bit of that, but we want to grow through partners. If you're an industry, if you're a partner in energy and land and renewables, this makes tons of sense for you. There's a reseller opportunity here. It gets you closer to the customer, which is what software always should have done as for you as an SI member. I built from three of us, almost 4,000, and we always had an ISV component. We were always a little software company within a larger SI. So again, it was always part of our mantra. Sometimes in areas we did it better than others, but it allows you to be really close to your customers. Make that a customer for life. They know you're adding value to them, not just great consulting and implementation, but also unique IP. Why not add that to your portfolio right now? Like we say, our agent library is your agent library. So if you want to do that, come have a conversation with me. I really encourage you, if you're in those industries, you're struggling to build out your agent library, there's probably a reason for that. Reach out. There's an opportunity there just to take it day one and have it part of your offering. Again, MWP is an amazing partner of ours, Ashley, and we've got Computas Digital, Sohail, and the rest of that team. We've got others. We're building that out. Love to have a conversation with you. The other is maybe there's this intermediary. As you're an SI, but we said really it's an ISV, software development company, people, process, and tools to really build them out, industrialized agents, if you go down that thesis, like I have. Again, living in both worlds, well, maybe there's this middle ground. We call it Megabytes AI Agent Build as a Service offering. We talked about, again, our 6 pillars, agents as software. It really is software. And you better build it, industrialize strength from the beginning, and you better be able to stand behind it. Defined interfaces, secure by design, observability, and evaluation. So you can open the hood at any point. Customers can see that, feel comfortable with it, expand it, right? Not only in delivery, but as you build it out, have tools to build it out further. And as you know, with agents, structured workflow is something big that's behind it. And so here's our, methodology, right? This is how we do it. We'd love to offer it to you as a service if it makes sense. So people, which we do it in a pod environment, we'll bring in halftime project manager, we'll bring in a product manager, we'll bring in a development team, we'll bring in, you need to bring in sponsorship, you'll need to bring in a budget, but we need subject matter experts from your side as well. We need a vision from your side as well. We'll bring methodology, right, to the table that we've utilized over and over again. It's proven. And we'll also bring the tools, Megabytes AI plus Microsoft. Think about it as building agents for you and for your library that can be white labeled. We can get in a rhythm, building out an agent every 3 to 4 weeks. We think if you're in an industry, you better have 5 agents or more within that industry. So anyway, let's have a conversation around that. And then finally, let's have a conversation. We'd love to hear from you. If I met you before, if I haven't met, I'm always looking for, new awesome people in the Microsoft ecosystem. Learn from what you are seeing with your customers. Again, we're in a learning, and we always need to be, no matter what you are, how successful you are, what you've accomplished, what's in your bag, just continue to learn, continue to help. And that's really, like I said, I feel just blessed throughout my entire career. It's so much fun. But the one thing that we've done is we always had customer first. Every time we somehow ventured off customer first, not great things happened, right? And so, and like I said, I'm blessed, and Brett's blessed, and our teams, we get to talk to new customers and C-level, and in our industry, we'll have a conversation every day, every other day. And some of it's counseling, to be honest with you, because they're worried. They're worried what this world looks like with agents taking over the world. And are we going to be working for agents? Are we going to have what's the social ramifications of it? And, what do you think? What are your ideas? I can share mine, but what do you think? How do you think it can be applied to your business? Things like, our culture, how's it going to be, is it going to be destroyed bringing agents in? It's important. We're unique. Yeah, you're all unique. Everybody's unique, right? Especially if you've been doing it for a while, successful. And it comes down to culture. What's culture? Culture is people, right? And so we understand that. And so how do you bring but what I tell people, and I tell you as well, don't put your head in the sand thinking that you can just ignore this, just like you thought you could ignore the internet. You could ignore the internet for a while, and you could be okay. This one, just don't do it. No matter if you agree or disagree with what we're talking about today, our thesis, I don't care. Add your own thesis, do the research, get on board, do something, serve your customers. But sitting back, waiting and go, we'll deal with it later. I just feel bad. I feel bad for you. I feel bad for the customers, and some will and some won't. So what, right? So we try to help any way we can. There's my information. Reach out to Ashley. She's our main champion here, main sponsor here. She's your, sponsor for Southern California, IAMCP. It took me forever to be able to say those acronyms. So reach out to Ashley as well. And all I say is always onward with pace and purpose. So thanks for all the time today. Thanks for leaning in. Ashley, I think I actually did okay on the time.
You did spot on. And wanted to just kind of highlight, Trin did have a question, and my thoughts for maybe your AI agent builder would be the best course of action, but looking at healthcare and solutions and agents in that space, have you started doing any R&D, or is it more going to be kind of folks coming to you and utilizing the AI agent builder to perhaps get there?
It's the latter. Again, we're really focused on our industries. We have a lovely story around it where we're eating
Yep.
our own dog food. We want to like come at it and serve our customers that way with like, no, we've been there, done that. We know this. We're like with full, like, who else can do that in this
Yeah.
space, in these industries for last, like, no one. I'm just gonna cut to like no one can. So it's a really compelling story. We'll expand to different industries. I don't see us expanding into healthcare. So Tran, this is where the agent industry agent build as a service would come in. If that's where you focus, let's have a conversation because that's where we can use all your expertise, subject matter expertise, and use us as the people and process and tools that can help build your industrialized AI agent library and bring it to your customers, right? Certainly demo it to your customers and then bring it to your customers, and we can white label it for you as well. That could be a fun conversation to have, and we'll be part of your team. But it's part of a team that's been there and done it, and you can go with confidence. Or you can try
Love
to
that.
build that team out by yourself. Haven't done that many times. Have fun doing that. Just it's gonna take you it's gonna take you a long time to do it, and probably some trial and error, so we can have a conversation around that.
Well, being respectful of everyone's time, thank you to all of those on the call, and we will be sharing the recording. But for any folks that want to come off of mute and turn on your camera to say a quick question, thought, or hello, feel free to do so, and then we'll get this wrapped up. And just thank you again, Gary, for your time and expertise. I would definitely take him up on the offer to connect. The conversations are great, and never know which direction we're going to go, but I know I'm going to learn a lot and understand questions on a deeper level than a lot of times we take it in early stage conversations. So appreciate it. See some faces there. Anyone have anything for Gary, or we'll go ahead and jump off?
Rich,
All
you
right.
gotta have a question. I know you're dying.
Quiet group.
Yeah.
No, I think I've seen this a few times, so I have an advantage. So for sure. But are there with the agent builder practice, are there any industries? Is that open to any industry? I guess is my question. Does it matter which industry that is? I know you addressed healthcare. Okay, so that's more of a just a service. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you think about like industrial manufacturing, it's really, I say if there is an industry that's really adopted it, I would say, when you look at the McKinsey reports and all, this isn't my opinion. You look at manufacturing is definitely one of the top industries that have adopted AI and agents and whatnot. So if you think about our path, our renewables, it's a biomass business. It's really industrial manufacturing, process, and chemical. We'll be adding more agents. But again, if that's where you focus, as a business, let's go, right? Let's have those conversations today. Utilize maybe what we're developing or have developed, but let's develop what you're developing. And of course, it's IP. There's contracts around it. We're a provider to you, so been on the software IP side for a long time and understand how that works. And we can work through anything that way. It's a great question. So many industries out there, but.
Yeah.
If you think about that, you need to bring given all that, you need to bring your subject matter expertise to the dance. That's what's going to make the magic work with our people, process, and tools. We can do all sorts of magic, but we have to have your subject matter expertise and some allocation of time, to make it work.
Yep. No, that's why when you say that, like we've talked about before, when you start thinking about that, it's endless, really. The agents and the industries, it kind of just blows me away the opportunity. So that's why I ask.
Yep. And who's going to get there first? So knowing that you have people, process, and tools at your disposal, if that's the piece that's missing from a team that you've already got built, definitely have a conversation. Appreciate everyone being here. Thank you so much again. Take a look. We'll send out a newsletter with all the details and take us up on that offer. Let's connect. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks again,
Awesome.
Gary. Bye-bye.
Thank
Adios.
you.
Thank you.